The planet lay under a pale green sky, a world of jagged rocks, deep valleys, and strange glowing flora. Its air was thin, but breathable, and rivers of shimmering liquid ran across the surface, reflecting the light of two suns. This world was home to a civilization that had learned to thrive in its harsh environment. The aliens here were small but clever, with slender limbs, large expressive eyes, and an incredible ability to adapt to their surroundings. Their cities were carved into cliffs and built atop enormous trees, blending naturally into the rugged landscape. Life had not been easy for them, but they had found ways to survive and live in harmony with the planet. One quiet evening, as the twin suns began to set and paint the sky in shades of purple and gold, a strange signal reached the alien monitoring stations. At first it was barely noticeable, a flicker of energy in the outer space network, but the more it repeated, the clearer it became. It was a distress signal. Unlike anything the aliens had seen before, it carried a human signature, a pattern of sound and light that was foreign, almost impossible to fully interpret. The message was urgent, filled with fear and desperation. Somewhere in the void, humans were in trouble. The alien council gathered immediately. These leaders were wise, experienced, and cautious. They had faced challenges before, storms that could strip a city from the cliffs, predators that lurked in the forests, but they had never encountered anything like this. A human distress call was a rare and serious matter. Humans, according to the few stories that had reached the planet over time, were extraordinary creatures. They had survived worlds far more dangerous than this one, and they were known as relentless, determined, and often merciless. The council debated what to do. Sending a team could mean helping those in need, but it could also bring danger to their own people. Meanwhile, in the streets of the alien cities, word of the human signal spread quickly. Marketplaces emptied faster than usual as parents called their children home. Children, curious and fearless, pressed their faces to the transparent walls of their homes to look at the stars. The idea of humans, giants of survival, reaching their world sparked excitement, fear, and wonder all at once. People whispered stories of distant planets where humans had faced impossible odds and survived. Some claimed humans were heroes. Others said they were unstoppable forces, and a few believed they brought destruction wherever they went. As the night deepened, the aliens worked tirelessly to understand the message. Scientists and engineers examined the energy patterns, trying to locate the source of the distress call. Every calculation showed that the humans were somewhere beyond the outer rings of the planet's orbit. Their craft had suffered damage, but the exact details were unclear. There were no signals of aggression, no signs that the humans were dangerous in the immediate moment, but the aliens could not ignore the reputation of humanity. The council decided to send a small reconnaissance team, experts who could observe the situation and report back. The reconnaissance team was chosen with care. They were skilled, brave, and knowledgeable about both the dangers of their own planet and the unpredictable nature of human beings. As they prepared their ships for departure, families gathered to see them off. The team moved with quiet determination, aware that what they were about to face could change the history of their world. Children waved from the cliffside platforms, and elders muttered blessings for safety and wisdom. The air was tense, filled with anticipation and the unspoken fear that the humans' arrival could bring challenges no one had ever imagined. As the team launched into the sky, the signal grew stronger. It carried with it a rhythm, a pulse that seemed almost alive. The aliens aboard their sleek silver ships tried to match the patterns, attempting to communicate, but there was no immediate response. Instead, the signal replayed itself in a loop, repeating the same desperate message. The aliens felt a mix of awe and apprehension. They had faced many disasters before, volcanic eruptions, floods, and fierce storms. But there was something different about this call. It was personal, urgent, and almost pleading. Back on the planet, ordinary citizens could not sleep. Families gathered around small, glowing lanterns, telling stories to calm themselves. The elders spoke of the times. Their ancestors had faced great dangers and how courage had always been the key to survival. But tonight courage felt fragile. The stories of humans, creatures who thrived on the edge of danger and who often did not show mercy, made hearts beat faster. Some worried that by answering the call, the planet might be inviting trouble. Others believed helping the humans was the right choice, that kindness and intelligence could guide their decisions. The alien children were fascinated. They had never seen a human, but they had heard stories that filled their imagination. They pictured enormous beings with strong limbs, faces that could show emotion in ways that were hard to understand, and eyes that seemed to see everything. The children wondered what humans ate, how they spoke, and whether they could become friends or foes. Parents tried to quiet them, warning that humans were unpredictable, but curiosity burned bright in the young ones' hearts. By dawn, the reconnaissance team had reached the outer edge of the planet's atmosphere. From there, they could detect faint traces of a human craft struggling in orbit, damaged but intact. The team's sensors recorded every detail: the metal of the ship, the energy, signatures, even small movements inside. What they saw confirmed their fears and their hope. Humans were real, alive, and in need of assistance, yet their presence radiated power and unyielding determination. The team understood that this encounter would not be ordinary. It would test their understanding, their courage, and the very limits of their peaceful world. Back on the planet, the council convened once more. They had seen the readings from the reconnaissance team. The human craft was heavily damaged, and the SOS signal continued. The council debated the next steps. Some argued for caution, suggesting observation from a distance, while others insisted on sending aid immediately. The discussion grew heated. No one wanted to make a mistake, but everyone knew that the humans' arrival was inevitable. As the alien sun rose, painting the cliffs and forests in gold, the world waited. Citizens went about their routines, but a subtle tension hung in the air. Markets moved slower, children's laughter was quieter, and the birds of the cliffs seemed restless. Everyone sensed that the planet was on the edge of an event that could change everything. The aliens could not predict the humans' actions, their motivations, or their intentions. They could only prepare, watch, and hope that intelligence and caution would guide the days to come. In the quietest corners of the cities, families whispered prayers, hoping that the humans would not bring destruction. Scientists ran final simulations, trying to anticipate every possible scenario. Scouts returned from the edges of the atmosphere with new data, but still the humans remained a mystery. And far beyond the stars, the damaged human craft drifted, sending its urgent signal, unaware of the nervous eyes watching from below. The HFY planet held its breath, waiting for the moment when human determination would arrive, unyielding and unstoppable. The night passed. The twin suns rose again, and the alien world continued, not knowing whether it would face heroes, destroyers, or a mixture of both. Every creature, every alien citizen, and every leader felt the same tension. Something had arrived that could not be ignored, and mercy, perhaps, was no longer a certainty. The sky above the alien planet shimmered with unusual light as the humans finally arrived. Unlike anything the aliens had seen before, the human ships were massive, sleek, and powerful, gliding through the atmosphere with confidence and precision. They moved with a sense of purpose, cutting through the clouds as if they belonged in the sky by right. From the moment they appeared, it was clear to everyone that these were no ordinary visitors. Their presence commanded attention, demanding respect, and inspiring both fear and curiosity among the alien population. As the humans descended, the alien monitoring stations buzzed with activity. Scientists and engineers tried to track their movements, noting the unusual way the ships adjusted to the atmosphere, the stability in their approach, and the strange technology that seemed beyond anything the aliens had ever imagined. There was no chaos in the human landing. Every motion was deliberate, calculated, and efficient. It was clear to the aliens that these beings were survivors in the truest sense, beings who had mastered the art of surviving the impossible. The aliens watched in awe and apprehension as the humans stepped onto the surface. They were taller than any alien, with broad shoulders and strong limbs that seemed built for endurance. Their movements were precise, purposeful, and utterly unhesitating. Their eyes scanned the surroundings constantly, as if every detail mattered, and every potential danger or opportunity was being noted. The humans carried tools and devices that glimmered with energy, and small flying drones followed them, analyzing the terrain and mapping the area with speed and accuracy. It was clear to the aliens that these humans had faced environments far harsher than their own. Even from a distance, the humans gave off an aura of determination and focus. The alien scientists tried to communicate, sending signals and messages, but the humans did not respond immediately. They seemed unaware, or perhaps indifferent to, the alien attempts at conversation, focused entirely on their mission. It was a mission of survival, the aliens realized, and not one concerned with diplomacy or hesitation. This understanding sent a chill through the council chambers and among the citizens alike. They had heard tales of human survival instincts, but seeing them in action was far more intimidating than any story could convey. The first interaction occurred when a small group of alien scouts approached cautiously, hoping to offer guidance and ensure safety. The scouts tried to signal their presence, moving slowly and carefully to show that they meant no harm, but the humans did not pause or hesitate. With calm precision, they analyzed the terrain, moved past the aliens, and continued toward the source of their distress signal. Their reaction was not aggressive, but it was clear. Interference was unwelcome and mercy was not part of their approach. Every alien watching the scene felt a mixture of fascination and fear. These humans were not cruel. They were focused, driven by survival instincts honed through generations of challenges and extreme environments. Yet the lack of hesitation, the absence of any desire to negotiate or delay, made the humans appear unstoppable. Children who had climbed to the cliffs to watch whispered among themselves, imagining beings who could walk through danger without fear. Adults muttered warnings to one another, realizing that this was not a situation they could control or predict. The humans quickly spread across the area where their signal had originated. They moved in teams, communicating through small devices that produced pulses of light and sound, coordinating perfectly without the need for spoken language. It was a display of efficiency that left the aliens both amazed and unnerved. One observer remarked that the humans seemed to operate as a single organism, each individual aware of the other's positions, needs, and intentions. Every movement had a purpose and nothing was wasted. As the humans explored, they began to assess the planet's resources. They scanned the ground, examined structures, and even tested the rivers and minerals with small instruments. The aliens watched nervously, unsure whether to intervene or simply observe. Any mistake could provoke an unintended conflict. Leaders debated whether to step in, but they quickly realized that the humans' focus was on survival, not conquest. Still, the alien citizens could not shake the feeling that they were witnessing something extraordinary, an encounter that could change the course of their world forever. At night, when the twin suns set and the sky turned deep shades of blue and violet, the humans continued their work. They built temporary shelters, repaired their equipment, and even set up observation points to monitor the surrounding areas. The aliens observed from a distance, fascinated by the speed and ingenuity of these newcomers. The humans adapted quickly to the environment, using tools and techniques that seemed almost magical to the alien eyes. Every action, from constructing a makeshift shelter to testing local energy sources, was performed with unmatched skill and precision. Despite their focus, the humans occasionally paused to take in their surroundings. They studied the alien plants and animals, noting patterns, behaviors, and potential uses. It became clear that while the humans' primary concern was survival, they were also naturally curious, learning from every detail of the world they had arrived in. The aliens, in turn, were learning about the humans, their strength, intelligence, and unyielding determination. Each observation reinforced the dual sense of awe and caution that filled the population. Tensions grew as the humans explored further into alien territory. While the initial encounters had been cautious, the humans' presence inevitably disrupted local life. Animals fled, minor accidents occurred, and some alien communities felt uneasy about the outsiders. The council convened to discuss the growing concerns. They debated whether to maintain distance or attempt more direct communication. The decision was difficult. Any misstep could be dangerous. The humans' reputation as Deathworlders, survivors of the harshest planets, weighed heavily on their minds. It was not a reputation earned through cruelty alone, but through sheer ability to endure and adapt. The aliens began to document everything. Scientists, scribes, and even children with curiosity journals recorded observations of human behavior. Every detail mattered: how they moved, how they reacted to the terrain, how they communicated with one another, and how they approached unknown situations. This record would serve as both a study and a warning for future generations. Everyone sensed that the arrival of these humans was not a fleeting event, but a turning point. Even as the humans completed the first stage of their mission, the planet's inhabitants remained on edge. They had seen enough to understand that mercy was not a defining trait of these visitors. The humans did not seek to harm, but they also did not hesitate when confronted with challenges. The aliens could only watch and learn, hoping that their intelligence and caution would allow them to coexist with these extraordinary beings, at least temporarily. By the end of the first day, the humans had established a stable base and made significant progress in assessing the situation that had caused their distress signal. From a distance, the aliens observed silently, aware that the story of humanity was not one of weakness or passivity, but of unrelenting determination. The twin suns rose again over the cliffs and forests, and life on the planet continued, though now under the shadow of the humans' presence. Curiosity, fear, and fascination mingled in every heart, as the aliens realized that their world had just become part of a much larger and harsher galaxy. As the night fell once more, the humans continued their methodical work, moving like shadows over the cliffs and forests, leaving no detail unexamined. The aliens learned that their world, though protected by cliffs, forests, and ingenuity, was exposed to beings whose definition of survival was both inspiring and terrifying. The humans were not evil, they were not cruel, but they were unstoppable, and every alien knew that the days ahead would test their wisdom, courage, and unity as a society. As the humans continued to explore the alien planet, tension began to grow among the local population. At first, the aliens had watched in awe and cautious curiosity, trying to understand the visitors' purpose and abilities. But now it was clear that these were not ordinary travelers. Every action the humans took was precise, calculated, and filled with an intensity that the aliens had never seen before. They moved through villages, forests, and valleys with confidence, taking in every detail, analyzing every possibility, and preparing for every potential problem. It was a display of skill and focus that left even the most experienced alien leaders uneasy. The aliens tried to communicate, sending signals, messages, and even emissaries to approach the humans. They offered assistance, guidance, and even shelter, in some cases. But the humans seemed indifferent to many of these attempts. It was not out of rudeness. It was simply that they had a mission, and nothing could distract them from it. Their attention to the task at hand was unwavering, and they responded only when absolutely necessary. The council began to realize that trying to persuade or negotiate with them might not work in the usual ways. These were beings driven by instinct, training, and the need to survive, and the usual rules of diplomacy seemed to have little effect. The alien citizens, meanwhile, grew anxious. Families began to lock their homes at night, and parents warned children not to wander near areas where the humans were working. Markets were quieter than usual, and even the animals of the planet seemed to sense the presence of the humans, moving more cautiously and avoiding the areas they had claimed. Whispers spread about what humans were capable of, and old stories of dangerous worlds and fearless humans began to resurface. The more the aliens saw, the more they realized that these visitors were not merely explorers. They were beings for whom survival was a way of life, and who acted with unwavering determination. Conflicts began to emerge, though not from malice. The humans' efficiency sometimes clashed with the natural rhythms of the planet. They collected samples from forests, moved objects to better positions, and set up equipment in areas the aliens considered sacred. While they caused no harm intentionally, their actions disrupted routines and traditions, making some alien communities feel threatened. The council debated whether to intervene or to let the humans proceed, weighing the risk of confrontation against the potential for misunderstanding. Despite the growing tension, some aliens were fascinated. Scientists and scholars studied the humans closely, observing their methods, their tools, and their approach to problem solving. They saw beings who could adapt to extreme conditions, who could assess a situation quickly and act without hesitation, and who worked together seamlessly as a group. It was as if the humans were a single organism, each member aware of the other's intentions and movements. This level of coordination and skill was unlike anything the aliens had ever encountered, and while it was intimidating, it was also deeply impressive. The humans began to explore further into alien settlements. They mapped terrain, recorded energy, sources, and documented flora and fauna with devices that glowed and hummed softly. Alien children would sneak out of hiding to watch, wide-eyed with curiosity. They had never seen beings so strong, so focused, and yet so curious about the world around them. Even when the humans paused to examine a strange plant or study a flowing river, it was clear that every action had purpose and meaning. Nothing was random, and everything was part of their survival process. Alien scouts reported back to the council, with detailed accounts of the humans' movements and behaviors. Every report emphasized the same traits: focus, discipline, and a remarkable ability to adapt. The humans' lack of hesitation made them seem unstoppable. Even when faced with minor obstacles, rough terrain, heavy winds, or difficult climbs, they adjusted immediately and continued forward. The council realized that if the humans were ever provoked, there would be no turning back. They would not retaliate out of anger, but out of efficiency, doing what was necessary to achieve their goal. The tension escalated when a minor accident occurred. A human drone malfunctioned near a village, causing a loud noise and a small disruption in the local environment. The aliens initially feared aggression, but the humans immediately went to fix the issue, working quickly and efficiently, showing no anger or frustration. This action gave the aliens a glimpse into human behavior. They were not cruel or careless, but their sense of mercy was limited by practicality. Survival and completion of the mission always came first. Observing this, the alien leaders realized that they had to adapt their strategies as well. They began organizing communities differently, creating safe zones for citizens, setting up observation points, and teaching children about the humans' behavior so they would not be caught off guard. Schools included lessons about these visitors, emphasizing both curiosity and caution. Families learned to move quietly, to stay out of the way, and to respect the humans' need for focus while also protecting their own lives. It was a delicate balance requiring wisdom and careful planning. Despite the caution and fear, a sense of fascination grew among some alien youths. They admired the humans' strength, skill, and intelligence. Some secretly followed them, observing from a distance and taking notes. These young aliens dreamed of understanding the humans, of learning their techniques, and of one day being as capable and determined. The humans, unaware of these observers, continued their work, leaving a trail of awe in their wake. By mid-cycle of the planetary rotation, the humans had covered much of the central regions of the inhabited areas. They collected data, set up monitoring stations, and even created pathways to navigate the challenging terrain more efficiently. Alien scientists noted the effectiveness of every decision, marveling at the humans' ability to adapt and innovate instantly. It was as if the humans were rewriting the rules of interaction with the environment, showing possibilities the aliens had never considered. While some aliens admired them, others feared them. The lack of hesitation, the singular focus, and the efficient response to every situation made the humans appear unstoppable. The council realized that if the humans' objectives ever conflicted directly with the safety of the planet, the consequences could be severe. Plans were drawn to ensure that communication channels remained open, to avoid misunderstandings, and to guide the humans away from the most sensitive areas if possible. At night, the humans rested briefly, preparing for the next day of exploration. They worked silently in teams, maintaining their equipment and reviewing collected data. Their routines were precise, organized, and efficient, giving the aliens a clear understanding of how humans managed challenges. The twin moons of the planet rose, casting silver light over the cliffs and forests, and the humans moved like shadows, maintaining their presence while never causing unnecessary disruption. By the end of this cycle, it was clear that the humans' arrival was not a simple visit. Their efficiency, adaptability, and lack of hesitation had begun to reshape the alien world. Fear and admiration existed side by side. Communities adapted, leaders strategized, and citizens observed, all trying to understand these visitors who did not fit into any previous notion of behavior or intent. The humans were alive, focused, and unyielding, and the aliens could only watch, learn, and prepare for the days ahead. The planet, once calm and predictable in its routines, was now alive with anticipation. Every cliff, river, and forest seemed to hold the possibility of another encounter. The humans' presence was changing not only the environment, but the way the aliens thought, acted, and planned for the future. And though no harm had been done, everyone understood that the humans' unrelenting determination left no room for error, mercy, or hesitation. Survival, efficiency, and adaptability were the humans' defining traits, and the aliens were only beginning to grasp the depth of these qualities. As the days passed, the humans' presence on the alien planet became impossible to ignore. Their efficiency, focus, and unrelenting drive to complete their mission had begun to disrupt local routines, forcing the Alien Council to take more serious action. For the first time, leaders realized that passive observation was no longer enough. They had to confront the humans directly, not with aggression, but with careful diplomacy, hoping to establish boundaries and avoid unnecessary conflict. The council called an urgent meeting with representatives from every major settlement, strategizing on how to approach the humans safely and respectfully. The alien envoys were chosen with great care. They were skilled negotiators respected by the people and known for their calm reasoning. Their instructions were simple yet clear. Approach the humans carefully, speak on behalf of the planet, explain their concerns, and attempt to find common ground. They carried gifts of energy crystals, food supplies, and written messages expressing peaceful intentions. Despite these preparations, each envoy felt a knot of worry in their chest. They knew that the humans were unrelenting, efficient, and highly focused on their goals. Any misstep could be dangerous, even if the humans did not intend harm. When the envoys finally reached the humans' temporary base, they were struck by the organization and discipline on display. The humans had built shelters from local materials, set up observation points, and maintained their equipment with meticulous care. Every human moved with a sense of purpose, communicating silently through gestures, signals, and small devices. Nothing was wasted, nothing left unattended, and nothing done without reason. The aliens realized in that moment that these were beings who could adapt to any situation, master any environment, and act decisively in all circumstances. The council representatives began speaking carefully, explaining the purpose of the planet, the customs of its people, and their concern about the humans' movements. They spoke of sacred areas, community routines, and the need to maintain balance between exploration and local life. For a moment, there was silence as the humans paused their work to listen. Their expressions were calm but unreadable, showing neither fear nor surprise, only attentiveness. It was clear that they understood the message but measured it against their priorities. Then, a human leader responded. Their voice was steady, direct, and without hesitation. They explained that the mission was crucial for survival, that they had been stranded in the depths of space, and that every action was carefully calculated to ensure success. They did not speak with aggression, nor with disrespect. Instead, they spoke as beings who had mastered the art of survival, beings who knew that efficiency was more important than emotion in certain situations. The aliens quickly understood that the humans were not cruel, but neither were they willing to compromise essential objectives. Their lack of hesitation was a reflection of focus, not malice. As the conversation continued, the humans moved through their environment, maintaining vigilance even while speaking. They occasionally gestured to the envoys, indicating areas that needed attention or resources that could help them complete the mission. Every gesture and word carried weight, demonstrating that these beings operated with precision and clarity. The alien envoys realized that negotiations would not be simple. The humans were capable of understanding diplomacy, but they would always prioritize their mission above all else. The Council understood that this was a delicate balance. Cooperation was possible, but it required careful planning and respect for the humans' focus.